everybody. Charley Hogwood with Survival Dispatch Insider. Every year we come up with the top products that we like, and I came up with a bunch of products that I like that I picked up throughout the year 2019. So check it out. One of the things I rave about, and I'm very serious about, is water purification. When it comes to water purification, there's not very many filters I trust my health and safety with, or that of my family. One of those products I do trust is Berkey. I love Berkey filters. I love all the different ones. Now I have a Berkey Light system that I've had on my countertop, even though I've got great quality water coming through the faucets. That was not always the case. My Berkey Light, we probably fill that thing twice a day. That's how much of that water we use. We use it for cooking, we use it for drinking, we use it for all kinds of things. And it is amazing. By the way, if you want to make great coffee, try coffee through a Berkey filter. It just makes the water silkier. I can't describe how it is, but it's just amazing. So the reason I wanted to show this off today is because I've had a Berkey now for probably 6 or 7 years and using it every single day. The reason I wanted to show this off today is I finally replaced my filters. Those filters were running about 5 or 6 years. Here are the two main elements that go inside of a Berkey filter. This is the original one, and it's a tortuous path filtration. It's a carbon-based filter. I'm not going to read off the absolute list of things that this removes, but at the top what we're looking at is log 5, which is 99.999% removal of viruses, and log 4, which exceeds the purification standard. And it'll go through all of the different things that are on here. The reason I like the Berkey filters is because it removes everything out of the water. So once you really start to study water treatment, you'll learn that there's a couple of things going on in the water as it boils down. There's a pun in there somewhere. You have natural organisms or pathogens, and then you have chemicals and hard metals, that kind of thing. Now, you can boil water to make it drinkable, but if the water has chemicals or pesticides or arsenic or lead or anything like that in there, that won't boil out. So when I say that you're going to do water treatment from the wild, first thing you want to do is you always want to pick the best quality of water that you can find. Make a choice. Would I drink the water that's right off the side of a road in a drainage ditch, or would I drink the water that's in a nice clear running stream? Both of them I'm going to have to treat, but the one in a clear running stream is probably going to have less chemical and oils and VOCs in it than the water that's on the side of a highway with oils and all the runoff from the asphalt in there. So I can't boil that stuff out. So first I want to choose the water. Secondly, I want to make sure that I filter it first to remove all that stuff out that I can remove, and then I want to boil it if I'm in a wild situation. So I am going to filter and then treat the water. With a Berkey filter, I don't have to do all of that. I can take the water and pour it straight into the Berkey filter, and because it's gravity fed through these filters are at the top, the water runs through these and comes out and drains into the reservoir at the bottom. Funny story about this, my daughter had the Berkey sport bottle that had the filter inside of it when she was younger, and she put Gatorade in her sport bottle, and she went to drink it and she said, "It tastes like water," and realized that she put the Gatorade in there and it stripped all the Gatorade out and she was only drinking the water. That's how good these are. The test for these filters from Berkey themselves, they say when you put the water in there, put red food coloring in the top reservoir, and it'll come out, it will strip the red food coloring out, and it works. That's how you test to make sure your system's working. That's how amazing these are. But what you'll see on these filters, both the exact same filter, the new ones and the old one, this one has been in there for 5 or 6 years. It is still working, absolutely cruddy. It was on a well water system. We carried this to every survival show that we went to. We poured pond water in. We poured water out of potholes from the street. We had tadpoles. We had goldfish. We had weeds and stuff in there. And it filtered it out until the water was perfect and clean coming out of the bottom reservoir. We finally decided maybe it's time to go ahead and replace our filters. That's where we are. And because of this, that's why I trust my water filtration to Berkey, and why I bought another set of filters this last year after all those years. Well worth the investment, a lot cheaper than buying bottled water, a lot healthier than bottled water, and I can put any water in that system and be just fine. Another product that I brought in today, one of my favorite products of the year for 2019 was, it's a C-collar, a cervical collar. So when we create our trauma kits or survival kits and things like that, sometimes we take it to another level. In my county, We work with the fire department through our CERT team, through our first team for fast incident response support team, and they want us as civilians to carry medical gear, and they train civilians on the use of the medical gear. Believe it or not, we actually are encouraged in our county to work with our firefighters and ambulance crews on car crash scenes. Due to manpower staffing levels, they allow us to do this. They ask us to do this. So one of the things I did is I said, well, I want to carry a C-collar in my car because they want us to put those on people. Okay, if we're going to do that, there's a couple of different kinds. You have the older one that is rigid. It's got the slide up and down neck chin support, and you've probably seen those on TV shows. This is a new one. This one is actually inflatable, or should I say it works by vacuum. This is called the SIP. It's called Stabilize in Place. And what it is it's essentially a bean bag. It's got those little foam beads inside of it. And you'll see that it's got a very simple sizing chart. Whereas you're using the other ones, you have to put your hands up on the neck and you got to size it to the proper height, and you got to make sure you get it right. The problem is if you don't get it right, you could really cause some cervical injury if there's already something going on with trauma. This particular C-collar is set up in such a way that it's an inflatable or vacuum style collar, and you just put it on the right size. You just follow the hand gesture that's on here. Put it on, wrap it around your neck. As you put it around the neck, it's got Velcro. The Velcro you'll size, and then now you've got a collar, and it's soft as a pillow. You can actually put this on somebody when they're laying flat on the ground. You can put it on them from the back seat of a car if they're in the front seat, which is a lot of times what happens. And once you put this on, you have a vacuum pump over here. You have a little clip that holds the vacuum in place once you establish it. And all you have to do is pump this. And as you pump it down, what it does is wherever it was sitting, it maintains the form that it had. So it's no longer fluffy and like a beanbag. It's actually vacuumed down and is form fitted to the person that it's been put onto. So what you can do there is you can then lock the clip down. You can remove the pump off of here. It just has a little quick release. And now that person doesn't have this pump hanging off, causing more issues. And now you can deal with the rest of the situation as you need to with that patient. If you need to release that and reposition it, you can still do that. Now that it's vacuumed down, you can still unwrap it. If you need to tighten it, just go ahead and give it a little bit more and it's in place. That's a little bit different than those hard plastic C-collars that we see a lot of times. So very handy. It's made by Care 2 Innovations. It's called the SIP, which is a Stabilize in Place cervical collar, SIPQuik. And it will have instructions right on the side of this. And instructions are going to be key. So if you're not used to working in that environment, read the instructions and then you'll be all set. If you need to remove this later on, all you have to do is open up the clip and this whole thing starts to relax and it goes back to being essentially a beanbag again. So another piece of my favorite equipment that I got this year. So maybe give it some thought if you want to put that in your trauma kit at home or put it in your car kit. One of the products that I just recently got at one of the big epic gun shoots that we were just at is the VZ Grips G10 polymer non-metallic, non-detectable knife. It is outstanding. What they have here is they have a leather sheath that is horizontal mount on your belt or vertical mount on your belt. And inside of this nice leather sheath, you actually have a non-detectable blade. So there's no metal in it. It's super lightweight, and it's a compressed polymer. So when you look at it really close, you'll see the many layers of material that are compressed into this. It's got a nice hand feel, super lightweight. As Alan says, it's a stabby, pokey thing, really hard on the side of a neck if you ever got into that kind of a situation. I actually wear mine right in front of my belt buckle. You can't see it, but I pull it out, it's right there. It stays there all the time. It's super comfortable. So we have two different styles here. Basically, they're the same kind of material, but they just have a little bit of a different shape. They have a little bit of a different grip to them, but they stay in the sheath. When you put it in the sheath stays nice and snug. It's lightweight. There's no rattling. Again, there's no detection. I wouldn't recommend that you try to take it places you're not supposed to. You'd probably get in a lot of trouble. But it's because it's a polymer, It's got a super sharp point on it, but it does not have a cutting edge. Even though the edge is beveled and ground into to a knife edge, it's not going to cut anything. So it's not a slashy thing, it's more of a stabby thing. So again, one of my favorite things I got this year was the vzgrips.com polymer blades. And I'd say go give them a check out. They also have some amazing hand grips for black rifles. That the hand grips are so sharp, you almost need to wear gloves. They stick to you. It's like holding a cactus, so you're not going to drop that grip on your rifle. So vzgrips.com, polymer blades, undetectable. Who thought? So I got introduced to Olight this year. Normally I like Streamlight products, love them, still do. But the Olights, I'm really kind of digging these this year for my EDC, my everyday carry, my pockets, my pouches. So we just have a couple of simple samples here today. I'm not going to go through a lot of model numbers and stuff like that. But what we have is just small lights here. Now this particular light, this has actually got a rechargeable tail cap on it. So you can just charge that and keep it going. So you're not dealing with batteries. Very bright LEDs. Not going to bore you with all the specs to it, but nice hand carry. It's got a nice knurled body to it. And it's going to fit in your pocket really well. And what I find is with all the Olights, they're all very comfortable. They're easy to carry. They're not too bulky. They don't have a lot of rough edges on them. They're going to get snagged on clothing. Kind of liking that. This is one that I carry here in my pocket. It's got the two-way clip on it. So I can put it in the pocket this way, or I can flip it over and put it in the pocket the other way. Got a tail cap button on it. First push of the button gives a dim light. Push it off and on again, you get a brighter light. So that gives you that moonlight phase. So if you don't want to flash your night vision at night, you always know that the first push of the button is going to be something soft. You can look at a map, you can work with tasks. Goes in your pocket, fits very well. All three of these smaller ones are running on a AAA battery. This one here is rechargeable, but these are all on AAA. Here's one that you just twist the end on. Nice, bright little simple EDC light. Nice crisp blue almost on the lens, kind of like that. But here's one that I had some fun with. We were out staying at a hotel doing some work, and this is the UV. So you can see here that, I don't know if you're picking that up on the camera, it's a blue kind of a purple beam that comes off. So you're not really using that as much for task work. So we stayed in a hotel. And I think I made I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, I started looking at the surfaces in the hotel and started to feel like I was in CSI Las Vegas because I saw a lot of biologicals on things that maybe, that was pretty scary. So I actually keep that hanging off of my zipper pouch on my jacket, so when I'm somewhere, I can shine that around and I can see organics and all kinds of things I wouldn't normally see. Another thing that this would work handy for, not just forensic investigations of hotel rooms, is when you start dealing with invisible ink. This is one of those things that if you started writing with you can get an invisible ink pen. This will read that note. So if you wanted to leave a note on a wall or on a piece of paper somewhere and you couldn't see what it says without using a UV light, that would help you with your secret messaging. That would, stuff like that. When somebody comes looking, they won't know what you got going on there with your writing. So that's what I'd recommend for that. These are all very inexpensive, nice little lights. They run in the range of $15 to $20 depending. Some of them are a little bit bigger, but Olight's got some great products. They've got some super bright products as well. So I'd recommend go check them out. So what we're going to talk about here today is shoes and socks. What I really like about these particular boots, these are the Rocky S2V. This is the Predator. It's a lightweight military. It's got all of it's got the flash-proof lining on the side, more explosion-proof, flame-proof. It's heavy-duty. It's got the single sole on the bottom, great tread, Vibram soles. All around, like wearing a sneaker with great anti-roll ankle support. I really like these a lot. So much that I can wear them all the time. It might not be fashionable everywhere I go, but boy, I tell you what, when you put these on with the right socks, they're amazing. So one of the things I really like about these is there's two versions of this that I have. This is the Predator. The other one I have is a little bit more Gore-Tex, a little bit more colder weather. These have holes down the sides here. They actually have water and air vents built into them. So whenever you're wearing a cloth boot and you're out in the water, your feet are going to get wet. I was former infantry. I was a cavalry scout. I spent a lot of time walking through water. The last thing I wanted is when I was walking through waters to have the built boot fill up with water and have it no way to drain. So I loved my jungle boots I had that I was issued, but this is a little bit more next level from even that. So when you walk through the water with these, the foot action actually squeezes the water back out on both sides of the boot. Squeezes it back out, and it wicks dry a lot quicker that way. So great boot, I love them. Rocky actually makes an S2V sock that is mated to these boots that have water tracks in the sock so that as you're walking, the water falls into the channel of the sock and then gets evacuated out through the side of the boot. Love them, great boot, great warranty. I won't go anywhere without them. So that's the Rocky S2V boot. The other thing is I actually like is a sock. I know this is not all high speed, but you know, when you're working on your leather personnel carriers here trying to get you from point A to point B, you want your feet to work. I've been to jungle survival school several times. I've been all over the world, and I learned the long, hard lessons about bad fitting boots, bad socks, chafing, and all that other ugly stuff. So I finally found a pair of socks that I absolutely love. These are called the Fox River Military Anti-Fatigue Over-the-Calf Sock. These particular socks, they're longer, they have great boot padding. They still have channels that match up very well with the Rocky S2V boot for drainage. They're more of a wool type of sock. They're not cotton, they're very stretchy. What I like about these, aside from all of the padding that's on them, is that these are an anti-fatigue sock. So it's almost a compression material. It stays over the calf where you put it and it never falls down. I've been running these socks for a few years now. I've never had a pair fall down whatsoever. Love these socks. They come in the coyote color. They also come in a little bit of a lighter version. In these black ones here, these are the Fox River socks in black. The material's just a little bit lighter for hot weather, but absolutely love these. These socks run about 13 bucks a pair, but they're gonna last. They've lasted me for several years, and I'm usually pretty hard on socks and stuff. So I strongly recommend them. You can't do worse than getting a great sock, and that's what's gonna save you. So Fox River Anti-Fatigue Military Socks, Rocky S2V Combat Boots, go get them. Continuing our video series on things that we got this year that we love. This one is a kit for me. This is something I've been working on for a little while. In my county, I work with the fire department, and we put together some of our own bags because we work to assist on the CERT team and on the first team. And we'll have these kind of things handy because we live in a little bit more of a remote location. This product that I have here today is actually the 511 All Hazards backpack. The All Hazards backpack it's just amazing in all of the MOLLE, the webbing that we have, all the different connections, all the different, I mean, the shoulder pads are great. The back pads have the cooling inside of here on these foam pads, so you can breathe, you can carry heavy loads. But it's what I did with it that's a little bit different than just a regular bug out bag. So this is only medical supplies. So what I started with is on the outside of this bag. I actually have a little bag here on the side. That's where I keep the handy rubber gloves. You'll see that these are the gloves. These are more purple, so that if I do a triage on somebody, I'll be able to see the color of blood or other fluids on my gloves. I'm not wearing the black ones for this kind of situation. This little pouch here on the side has actually got a elastic and keeps everything dry on the inside, but I can reach right in. I can pull out several sets of gloves if I want to do that. I had a strobe from scuba diving left over, so I just threw that on top of the bag in case I needed a marker if I'm out doing a search in the woods for lost kids or something like that, and we started dealing with helicopters, stuff like that. Then I could just turn on my strobe light, and somebody could see where I am. So I'm not going to do a full bag dump, but I will open this up so we can get an idea of what's inside just as an overview. This pouch has so much space and so many room for so many different things. I have irrigation kits for wounds. I've got betadine packets. What I also did on my kits is I went and I bought these vinyl Ziploc pouches, sort of a cosmetics pouch. And you'll see as I go through this bag, I went with clear so I can see my stethoscope, I can see my scissors, my door punch, my window punches here, flashlights, pen lights, all that kind of stuff. So this is more of a first response as soon as you get to a victim for triage. Headlight, things like that. I got my Write in the Rain notepads, pencils, stuff like that. I've also put a sharps container in here, and I also put march cards. So march cards is the procedure that you'll use when you come across somebody to start your assessment. We're not going to dig into too much of that, so if you guys want to look at march later on, I'd recommend do it, because that'll change your whole way of evaluating somebody in a medical situation where it used to be ABC, now it's march. So moving forward on the bag, this particular bag, I've got tape. I have another one of those pouches, a clear pouch, and this one you'll see that I've identified as burn. Inside of here I've got water gel packets, I've got different burn sheets, things that you would do for a burn situation. I keep a Mylar blanket inside of here because when you're dealing with burns, you could be dealing with shock, as you could with most major injuries. So we always want to keep that kind of thing handy. And you'll see I've got the various different kinds of, these are Rescue Essentials brand bandages. I got roll bandages, trauma bandages, abdominal bandages, you name it, it's all in there. I actually have a pouch for things like Silox, Quick Clot, different sizes, the Silox plungers, things like that I've been collecting a little bit over time. The different packages like this. Here's the Olays bandages, the Silox Rapid. So what I did is in this bag, I actually added, I went on and bought some small diameter shock cord, and on the MOLLE, on the inside of this, you'll see that it's orange inside of here, so you can get that orange provides a contrast for working in low light, so you can help see what's inside of there. Then I've got the black webbing. I put the shock cord in here, and I was able now to get some kind of control over all these different size trauma bandages, so they're not all falling all over the place when I go to open that up. You'll see that we also have webbing pouches that are Velcroed inside of here. And I have all the ACE bandages, all the tapes in this one. In this one I have more of the general supplies, the space blankets, shock blankets, syringes, things of that nature in here. But wait, there's more, because this bag is so big. When I move this forward, now I've got a large survival blanket, shock blanket, so I can use this for a shelter, or I could use this for somebody that's going into shock. These are very high quality blankets. This is better than your little thin Mylar sheet, and has a lot more uses as reusable. So going back in, you can see I bought a bunch of these little clear cosmetics pouches. This is all gauzes. So I have H&H bandages, I've got Curlin, I got roll gauze, I've got some more tapes. Now I have an airway bag. So you'll see that I have the Berman Airways inside the bag. I got the micro mask, which is a CPR mask. I've got the nasal evacuator. It's the bubble for babies that you can get in their nose. So I put the airway stuff in this one pouch. I don't have to go digging around for it. It's always right there. And then I've got I got ice bags. I've got little boo-boo kits inside of here. SAM splints, large trauma dressings, cardboard splints. I've got the dreaded yellow sheet that you get on the side of the highway if you didn't survive a crash, which is also, it's more moisture resistant. So that's kind of an overview of the 511 All Hazards bag. I love the bag. Been building on this for a little bit. I know these kits can get kind of expensive. You can go out and buy the full kit, and I have no problem with that. I love those kits. Or if you want to take it a little bit slower and do it a little bit at a time, buy a nice bag and then start stocking it the way you want. And you can take advantage of all these different pouches and configure it the way that you like. And this is configured the way my team works, in my county. So the All Hazards bag by 511. So until next time, thanks everybody. This is Charlie with Survival Dispatch Insider.